shouldn't be hard. Life should be a fun-filled adventure every day. So now start joining up dots. Tap into your talents, your skills, your God-given gifts, and tell your boss, you don't deserve me. I'm out of here. It's time for you to smash that alarm clock and start getting the dream business and life you, well, of course, are dreaming of. Let's join your host, David Ralph, from the back of his garden in the UK, or wherever he might be today, with another jammed-packed episode of the #1 hit podcast, Join Up Dots.
Yeah, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Join Up Dots podcast. This is the 12 millionth episode, but it's a podcast where every single episode is built around the 4 pillars of Join Up Dots. Getting more wealth, getting more health, bringing more fun into your life. And of course, the big one is sort of mindset and changing your life because of it. And that's what this episode is sort of all about, really. Because when we boil life down, every decision we make comes back to the mindset that we have. Every habit, every purchase, every opportunity, every challenge is either going to stimulate you or hold you in place. And that's all down to mindset. And if you can change your mindset, then it's going to help to build a better life, because you will tackle bigger challenges. And by tackling bigger challenges, you grow as a person. And then as you grow as a person, your opportunities grow as well. Well, today, I want to tell you about something that it sounds a bit boring. It sounds, ordinary, really. But it's one of the best things that I have done in the last, I would say, a few years. Now, I'm going to give it a big fanfare. I bought a 20-year-old Toyota Aygo, 1 litre 2007 car. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Hang on, this is about Join Up Dots. This is about mindset. But what, have you lost the plot? Well, possibly. Because what I wanted to do, I wanted to have a challenge. I wanted to push myself in a new direction. So I bought this sort of old little runaround, and it's turned into one of the biggest life lessons I've learned in years about confidence, growth, and why so many people struggle to change their lives. You see, if you asked me a few weeks ago what a throttle body was, I kind of know the words, but I would... blank expression, really. I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know a map sensor. I vaguely knew what a catalytic converter was. I kind of knew the words, but I certainly couldn't have shown you one, and I certainly couldn't have explained what it actually does on the car. Because like most people, whenever something went wrong with a car, I just paid someone else to fix it. And mechanics fix cars. That's what they do. That's their job. So I'd hand over the keys, they hand me the bill, and it was job done. But this time, I decided I wanted to understand it for myself, not because I had to, but because I wanted to challenge myself in a way that is more practical. So I've been there on my driveway with YouTube videos playing beside me on a little tablet, buying tools I've never owned before, opening the bonnet and just staring into an engine bay that looked like 50% chaos. 50% I knew vaguely what it was. I knew where the air filter was, the oil filter, the drive belt, alternator, the ignition coils, I kind of knew the basics, but it was beyond that. And I'll be honest, the very first thought that went through my mind wasn't excitement at all. It was fear. It was, what if I can't put this back together? What if I remove something and forget where it goes? What if I drop a little screw down the back and I can't find it? What if it never starts again? And all these kind of fears are familiar to us all, because they aren't really questions about a car. They're actually life questions. They're exactly the same questions we ask ourselves before starting a business, before changing careers, before asking somebody out, before moving a house, launching a podcast, writing a book. The object changes, what we direct our fear at, but the fear doesn't. And I think that's why so many people never change their lives. Not because they don't want to, but because they're frightened that they might unscrew something and it won't be the same again. And that's why Monday looks like Tuesday, Tuesday looks like Wednesday, and they drive the same roads, eat the same meals, watch the same TV programs and everything else. Now, this little Toyota has stirred something in me that I haven't honestly felt for quite a while, because I found a passion for something that I wouldn't have expected to be there. My routine has been interrupted, and I can look at something and think that was impossible, but now I've actually done it. Removing the cat looked terrifying. What if I couldn't get the bolts undone? So I Googled it and I bought the right breaker bar and the 10mm socket and used that, and I still couldn't get them off. So I Googled again and found penetrating fluid. So I sprayed them overnight, which loosened the bolts, which meant I could get them off. Changing the throttle body seemed beyond me until it wasn't. Replacing the map sensor was something that only mechanics could do, and I would have paid them, until it wasn't. Every single challenge became smaller the moment I started, not the moment I finished. The moment I started, because confidence doesn't arrive before action. Confidence is the reward for action. We all think confidence comes first, but it doesn't. I promise you. Nobody starts confident. They become confident because they've survived being uncertain. Every rusty bolt that refuses to move teaches you to look at it again. It teaches you patience. Every mistake teaches you another way not to do something. And every problem forces your brain to work just a little bit harder. And slowly you become somebody different. The challenge isn't changing the engine. The challenge is actually changing yourself to methodically join up the dots. The engine is just the excuse for my fear. And as I was working on it, and my wife would come in, and I was watching some person on YouTube do a video about Citroen C1s and Toyota 07s and Peugeot 107s because they're all the same car. My wife said, "Oh, blimey, aren't you bored?" And I said, "No, I'm finding this really interesting. This is good." And it made me realise that when I speak to people through Join Up Dots, one of the things that they struggle with is finding their passion. They always say, "David, I haven't found my passion yet." Because they're trying to look for the passion. But passion rarely comes first. Curiosity does. I wasn't passionate about fixing the car, far from it. I was just simply curious. Could I actually do it? It can't be that hard if some bloke with a few YouTube videos has figured it out. And that curiosity made me watch another video and another until I thought, okay, I can see that. I've got to take the panel pins off, get the bumper off, get the reinforcer bar off, and then that frees up the space so that I can see. And it became sensible to me. And I was then sitting in the evenings looking up engine rebuilds for fun. Not because anybody told me to, because I genuinely wanted to know more. And that's what this podcast is about. People spend years looking for passion, but passion doesn't need to be found. Passion finds you. It sneaks up on you while you're busy learning. It appears while you're solving problems. It grows because your understanding grows. And the more competent you become, the more interesting something becomes. You know, think about children. Children don't worry about finding passion. They just try things. One week they're drawing, the next they're climbing trees. Then they're obsessed with dinosaurs, then football, Lego. You know, most of it doesn't stick, but some things do. And that's how they discover themselves. But adults stop experimenting. We think we're supposed to already know who we are. So we stay inside the tiny box we built around ourselves. Oh, I'm not a mechanic. I pay for somebody. I don't do DIY. I'm terrible with money. I could never start a business. Says who? Says who? Well, usually yourself. You've built an identity around things that we'd never actually tested. And, Yeah, so I've been breaking it down. And the funny thing is, while I was working on the iGo, another memory came flooding back. And I know this to be true, but as a kid, I loved quizzes. I still love quizzes. I like escape rooms, crosswords, logic puzzles, anything where you had to work something out. And I had thought fixing a car was completely different, but it's exactly the same thing, because a car is nothing more than one giant puzzle. I already knew I had a passion for puzzles, and there's a bloody great puzzle with rusty bolts in front of me. So instead of moving letters around, I'm moving sockets. Instead of following clues, I'm tracing pipes and cables, yeah? It was a passion I had all along. I simply never recognised it because it looked different. It was wearing different clothes. And that is what Join Up Dots has always been about, looking backward, joining the experiences together and finding that hidden thread that's been there all along. And maybe, you can do the same. And maybe there's bits in your careers that you can look back and think to yourself, yeah, I naturally enjoy solving problems. So maybe I could bring that into a different environment, okay? I think it's worth thinking about. I think because the answers for your life changing dramatically are already inside you. You've just been waiting to notice. And if you give yourself one challenge a week or a month, not something life forces upon you, but something you actually choose, learn to bake bread, fix a leaking tap, repair a bicycle. It doesn't matter what it is. The activity isn't the point. The person you will become because of it is. Every challenge stretches you. Every challenge proves you're capable of more than you thought you were. And every challenge expands your world. And so I've started looking at other jobs on this little Toyota now. Things I wouldn't have considered a month ago, and not because I'm suddenly a mechanic, but because my brain now says, well, you figured the last few things out, and that's confidence. That's knowing you'll work it out, and that's a completely different mindset. Okay, so that's how life changes, not in one giant leap, just one rusty bolt, one lesson, one challenge. So this week I want you to find your own Toyota iGo, not necessarily a car. But find something that makes you think, I've never done that before. Something that makes you feel slightly uncomfortable, because that's exactly where confidence lives, not before the challenge, after it. Okay? And that's where I'm going to leave you in today's episode. So think about it. What things are you kind of reluctant to do because you have convinced yourself that you can't do it? And think about yourself as a kid, and what things would you just dive into because you'd never dreamt you failed, because, you'd never done it before. So you couldn't possibly fail. Just do it. Okay. So if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with somebody who needs a little nudge to step outside their comfort zone. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, because your feedback really does help us reach more people. And until next time, just keep joining up those dots and keep asking yourself, can I leave this to someone else, or could I do this and it will make my life better? You look after yourselves, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Till next time. Cheers. See ya. Bye-bye.